Very good evening to all again, and all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. I'm not taking any name now because you are already probably running behind time. I do not know how much time is assigned to each member. I was asking with curiosity to Dwivediji. He said, till we finish, the session will be on. I have a very small presentation because in the first session when I spoke about a lot of data, so it is better that I give a presentation and all. Except my institute's program, I do not give any presentation anywhere. I speak whatever I know from directly. But since we are a professional body, and whenever what we are talking, and if you give some information, data will be available. You can cross-check and cross-question in the time to come. Again, I think certain things will be repetition. The first session probably it was a trailer. Now it will be main show. Little bit more in detail. Now when I said that we have more than 50% in Fortune 500 company. Why we are talking about Fortune 500 company? They have become Fortune 500 because of their competency, capability, and the society has acknowledged them. And if we are representing more than 50% of our professionals there, that means we have the real talent. And if more than 70% has reached to the leadership positions, that again a significant contribution they are doing through their professionalism, which they have earned silently for last 62 years. We cannot live with the past, we have to live with the present. When you talk about emerging, which are emerging, that is the future. If more than 34% in the emerging area, like renewable energy, we talk about that, it's the very first emerging area. Whole globe is talking about that. Already our co-panelists have spoken about 500 gigawatt of renewable non-fossil fuel. Out of that, 485 gigawatt is renewable energy, on which my company is working. One of the torchbearer in the nation and steering the sector, that way I can say. Because nobody is having that kind of expertise and experience what our organization having with respect to renewable energy implementation in the country. Through financing, through handholding, for policy formulation. Being almost for 27 years as the sole arm of MNRE, since last 12 years, another entity has come into existence, that is in the name of SECI, Solar Energy Corporation. But as far as financing is concerned, even today we are the sole arm. If you look at the Ministry of Power, you have multiple arms in the name of PFC and REC. But in renewable MNRE, we have only one. And anything you do, we are living in an era of globalization. At global level, if you have your presence of more than 1 lakh members, so that speaks the volume of competence and capability of our professionals globally. And we all know that we are the fastest growing economy in the world. Last almost 11 years, the economy is growing in a jet speed. And last 5 years, more than 50% of our professionals is having the demand in the market. So despite being 62 years, why last 5 years? What we did 55 years, 57 years? Perhaps we have to introspect. And if you see the transition what we have received, what we used to do, go to the next slide. Yeah. We started as cost accountants, and it took quite a long year to change the name of the institute to cost and management accountant, because we manage cost better than others. And when you are living in a global competitive world, any product you sell, you will find cutthroat competition. So selling price is not in your hand, that is in the hand of many. But when you talk about cost, that is your internal thing. You can manage yourself. If you just shift for a while and connect to your own personality, when you are mingling with 10 persons, if you want to change 9%, it's very difficult. If you want to change yourself, you can do, because you have full control. So as a cost and management accountant, we have the full authority of managing our cost, of the product, of the services, of the value what we create. So from a cost controller, we shifted to a strategic financial advisor. So this transition has enabled us that kind of surge in the market with respect to the demand of the CMAs. From a typical process accountant, we shifted from to cross-functional enablers. Already Mr. Dwivedi was touching that we need not work in silos. Nobody can survive, even individually, forget about as an organization, if we are working in silos. We are living, again I'll repeat, in the era of LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. You need to open yourself, have a collaborative approach, work with cross-functional responsibility. When you say organization or a company, if you to be very precise, it's company means group. So group of persons, group of divisions, group of departments. So you need to integrate yourself, collaborate and work cohesively to get not only best out of you, to get best out of your team. And that is ultimately the team who can extract best out of each members, they are the winner. From a reporting analyst, we transition to executive leaders. Normally, if you are in a job, when you start your career, you are placed in a cost department. I had the fortune of working only 15 days in my career in a cost department, in my initial days of my career. And I could understand and realize that only working in cost department is not going to serve. I need to go and work in multiple departments. Not only I had the fortune to work in multiple departments, I also worked in multiple organizations, multiple locations. And I'm very fortunate that way. And I think the Supreme Power has been too kind, and all my elders and family members were quite supportive, which I could do by locating myself in almost 8-9 states, at least 12 to 13 locations. So that speaks, despite working in private and government, I had to undergo challenging times. Typically, we as human beings do not like to change. If you are occupying a seat in our office or even classrooms, every day we will go and like to occupy the same seat. One of our IIM professor, he said once, he is IITian and IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Mumbai, and he said whenever he goes to IIM Ahmedabad, he goes to and have a look at the hostel room where he was staying. So that is a typical human inertia that we stick to our original and we do not generally try to change. But those who adapt, change and adapt themselves to various situations and circumstances, they only can get better exposure and they can build up the capability within themselves as well as enable the capability building among the team members through various exposures by moving different locations, different organizations, different functions. From simple a compliance-oriented approach, we shifted to enterprise value creators. But whatever we do, ultimately our organization or our action should translate into the value. So today the CMS drive corporate excellency through various strategic manner, be it strategic financial management, be it financial forecasting, budgeting or cost optimization, which is a routine ritual work we used to do in beginning of your career. Whenever you even in your internship time also, if you go to join any of the organization, they will give you this kind of work. From there, we have shifted to operational excellence like process optimization. Normally, any organization, when it becomes old, lot of processes, legacy processes emerges. And by nature, we generally tend to continue with that and we do not look into it. When I'll talk about at the end about my organization, how we have adopted zero-based budgeting concept into zero-based processing. Each and every process we question that why this process should be there. If this process is not there, what is going to happen? And we could reach to fair amount of process redundancy, which we have accumulated through legacy process of 33 years. And that brought in a fair amount of effective utilization of our human resource and optimizing the human capital in most effective manner, which resulted 3.5x of output with 0.9x of input. That I'll talk about in the last slide about the organization. Then we play a critical role in risk and compliance, be it risk identification, internal control system, or regulatory compliances. Last, it is not exactly last, I have brought into only broad parameters, corporate governance and performance. We are considered to be the champion of corporate governance in the industry. I do not know why, whenever any comparison is made with 3 C's, when I'm talking of 3 C's, that is cost accountant, chartered accountant, and company secretary, I don't think we need to compete with anybody. We can complement each other and create a synergy in the society, in the eyes of government, in the eyes of industrialists, that we have our separate role, we have a different role, and we are here to complement each other. And I believe personally, if we can create that kind of culture of complementing each other in these 3 C's institutes, we can achieve to a better objective in most strategic manner. I was talking about zero-based budgeting. Certain case only I have referred, what I have talked in theory, those are already happened in many organizations. If you look at the case study 1, that is zero-based budgeting implemented, that is in the Unilever, one of the top-notch MNC. I will not take much time, I am only touching it so that you can Google out and see this. So, again, if you look at driving profitability and margin through operational excellence at Tata Steel. Okay. See how the steps taken to unlock the value with respect to EBITDA, TQM, and digitization. We have another, only 3-4 cases I have brought in here. We are talking about internal control. If you look at the case study of strengthening with COSO framework at Wipro, all these things will be available in their website. Only I am giving a glimpse so that you can go and you can Google it out. And General Electric is I think one of the global conglomerate. Inadequate accounting governance leading to performance failure. So one, we have seen success, and where there is a gap, how the failure is there. Now, when we talk about all these case studies, I'll talk about our professionals. I have again taken only few, my apology, whom I have not considered here. If I give all, then probably not only today's session, tomorrow session again I have to take. Sanjay Srivastav, Chief Business Finance and Reporting of Tata Steel. Mr. Binit Ajit Tardesai, ex-CFO. CMA Dinesh Saraf, ex-CMD ONGC. CM Amitabh Mukherjee, probably he was supposed to come and he could not come today, CMD, NMDC. CV Anandakrishnan, Chairman and Managing Director of recognized with ASSOCHAM, Corporate Governance Excellence, and Mr. Sanjay Upadhyay, CFO, awarded by ICI again. I have not taken the name of the dignitaries who were on the dais, probably Mr. Parth Bhattacharya. He is an icon to follow in this fraternity or profession. I am first time getting the opportunity to sit beside you, sir, and I used to see your few of the sharings in the PSU board WhatsApp group sometimes. It's a very widely read and practically exhibited his experience. I think you have also authored many books. One. Now, let us come to IREDA. Whatever I have spoken, how we have implemented here. 5 years back, it was just 33-year-old organization. Now it is 38-year-old organization. I have spoken in the morning that when I joined the company, it was 179 employees. We used to have annual financing to the tune of 7,000 to 8,000 crore. And a loan book of 22 to 23,000 crore. Now our annual financing is around 30,000 crore. Last year we have done almost 25 to 30,000 crore. And 8,000 crore what we used to do in a quarter, in a year, on an average if you take, it is happening in a year, in a quarter. And if you look at the manpower, from 179, March 25 data, it was 172. So percentage of manpower reduction in a non-banking finance company, our only resource is human resource. Apart from that, our resource is our culture, our policy, our system, and our procedures. Those are, you are the creator. Be it CMA, be it engineer, be it CS, etc. and all, they only design the policy, they only design the system, they only design the procedures and all. But real physical terms, if you see, you can only see the human resource. Now from 179, we came down to 162, almost 10% reduction. From 23,000, we have gone to 76,000 crore, 3.5x. And our net NPA was 7.18, because in any NBFC or banking, you have to see what is the NPA. You can have huge profit, but if your recovery is not happening, doesn't make any sense. From 7.18 of net NPA, we have come down to 0.99 last year, and now it is 1.45 something. See, NPA can be reduced in another manner also. You go and settle, go for a haircut. We didn't do that. 98 to 99% of our recoveries are with principal or principal of cost of funds or principal or simple interest. More than 90% is principal and simple interest. So, reduction in NPA, reduction in manpower, enhancement of 3.5x of loan book, and some of the most important thing what we have done, we have completely transformed our business practice into digital mode. Our current business center, that we call it IREDA Business Center, IBC, of course IBC has a different meaning in case of a lending business. So it is not that IBC, it is IREDA Business Center. It is a zero paper office. It is very difficult to believe, even if you believe also very difficult to digest, a government organization can have a zero paper office. Yes, we have. And it is near to zero visitor office. This is what we have learned during my roadshow visits to many of the developed economies, be it Singapore, London, New York, even Abu Dhabi, Dubai, etc. and all. Most of the places we found, they don't have paper in their office. Even they don't allow you to go inside. And even if they allow also, first they will take your passport and all other documents what you are carrying, that kind of thing. You are not allowed. But whereas in India, when any guest comes, foreigner comes, We feel pride in taking them to even to our kitchen without any requirement. Because we believe in Atithi Devo Bhava. And I also practice that culture, Atithi Devo Bhava. But let the Atithi be Atithi only. Let the Atithi be wanted Atithi, not unwanted guest. See, when we had COVID time, we had to work from home. And that COVID time taught us a lesson how we can work from everywhere. Why home? If you can work from home, you can work from everywhere. And today, our business team, they can work from anywhere. If we decide to overnight shift our office from Delhi to Jhumri Dalaya, no criticism to the name of the place. I am giving in a sense that any underdeveloped place, we can shift overnight our office to that without disrupting our activity. Perhaps that kind of vision the Government of India has mandated to us. Honorable Prime Minister has mandated to us. Unless you have a digitization, unless you have data integration, unless you have accountability, transparency and fairness and complete transparency in your approach to do the business, you cannot achieve such kind of things. And in our organization, whether it is a cost accountant, chartered accountant or company secretary or engineer or MBA, and we have MBA from top-notch institute like IIM, IIT, Javier's, etc. and all. Top-notch law institutes campus, we go for it. And lateral entry we do from top-notch corporate giants or conglomerates of India. But while working, we do not have typical hierarchical approach of working. And the kind of mindset what it used to be, that साहब मैंने तो उनको बोल दिया, मैंने तो उधर भेज दिया. What does it mean? We are not a courier agent that मैंने उसको बोल दिया, मैंने वहाँ भेज दिया. We have a concept and culture. If the person is initiating a proposal, till the proposal is implemented, that means note sheet is getting approved by the competent authority. These are typical government words. It is the responsibility of the official who has initiated the note. It is the responsibility of the entire chain of officer in between. So those are the gone days that any of our officer will tell, sir, I have already initiated a note. I have already sent. See, you have initiated a note. What is the purpose? Your purpose is to get the note approval. So what we learn from this, that anything you do, you have to define the intent and purpose. We are conducting this kind of national convention. I am little critical whenever I attend this kind of program. We should define what is the purpose. We should define whom we will invite. And again, behind the invitation, we should define the purpose. And then we should do our self-assessment, whether we have achieved our purpose or not. We may achieve, may not achieve. But at least if we attempt for 10, at least 1 or 2 we can achieve. Once we start keeping records of those things, time will come, we can achieve 10 out of 10 also. That is the way our organization has transitioned. Just think about in 33-year-old existence, our book size was only 22,000. And in just 5 years, we have added 45,000 with a lesser manpower. People say the renewable is growing in recently. It is not that. Renewable in India is growing since last 11 years. With the new Prime Minister coming into center, renewable is growing since 11 years. But do we have grown? Being the leader in this industry, we considered mother organization for renewable energy development through financing and policy making in the country. Why you have grown in 5 years? Why you have we have already lost opportunity of 6 years. So whenever many analysts ask us that no, your growth is quite unconventional. I said no, it is rather we should have done much before, much more than what we have achieved till now. If in 11 years, solar has grown 38 times, and we have grown 3.5 times loan book in 5 years, then we have grown lesser than what the country has grown. If we are the leader, then we have to prove that way. And similarly, any professional, be it CMA or XYZ, whenever you do a relative comparison and all, you see what is happening globally, what is happening nationally, what is happening across industry, what is happening within an organization. Then you assess yourself how you are contributing, what is your performance within that. We typically do the project appraisal. In our company, we focus on 2 things, project appraisal and employee appraisal. Like Y is function of X. If you do well your employee appraisals, your project appraisal will be perfect. We did not have a automated system of employee appraisal. We established that only last year. And now we are trying to bring in Gen AI into project appraisal and also employee appraisal. Probably maybe 1 year or couple of years down the line, the employee who is coming to the office will know in the morning itself what for he or she is coming to office. By the time he or she is leaving the office, they will know what for they came, whether they have achieved that or not. That kind of system we are going to build in. Then no leader will be required. The system will work automatically. Then AI will come into play. But having said this, no AI can replace human intelligence. Because ultimately the human intelligence or our kind of professionals are going to play a key role in designing that AI. Because once you set the command to the machine or the system, your AI is going to work. But we are living in a dynamic world where things are constantly changing and changing very fast. And if we do not change ourselves, do not adopt and adapt to the changes, what is happening around us, we cannot respond. Recently, I'll talk about another 1 or 2 minutes. I do not know whether I am exceeded the time or not. See, I have already talked about 27% CAGR and cumulative write-up and all. I have already spoken in my first session about governance and compliance of RBI and SEBI. We are considered as one of the benchmark in NBFC space by RBI to other NBFCs. And no more of IREDA. Now let us come back to the geopolitical conditions, what was happening. And many people are talking about so many things and all. Though I am not that competent to talk about that. Many people talk that why we did not do at least a day or more. As a cost accountant, just try to analyze it. With 1 day of impact, how much of cost has been incurred? If you go for another couple of days, how much cost we are going to incur? And against whom? What kind of damage? By some newspaper I read, it is 20% damage was done to their resource. If you would have done 1 or 2 days, to what extent it would have gone? Then what kind of economy they are and what kind of economy we are? Whether the fighting is going to support us. If you do true cost and management analysis, you will really appreciate that taking a call of taking a pause, not termination. I think Honorable PM has clarified it. Taking a pause, how it is going to save us. We are a fastest growing economy. We have to work very sensibly to that effect. So why I gave this reference, in any organization also, any time, any kind of crisis that is going to come, we can learn this lesson from this kind of geopolitical condition or crisis, what we have come across recently, to adapt in our professional contribution to our organization. I'll not take much time. I'll just congratulate the CMA fraternity and particularly President Mr. Naik, who was instrumental in shifting the headquarters from Kolkata to Delhi, which was pending for quite a long time. And it is not a simple thing. Those who are involved in that process, they can vouch for it or confirm it. This talk was going on for quite a long time. If you ask me, fair amount of time I have spent in Kolkata. If I am today standing and speaking to you, lot of contribution is there from Kolkata also. I do not find just shifting one institute from one place to another, it is going to serve the purpose. What was the intent and spirit of now work together? Let us see how best this institute can grow as faster than the growth of India. And we have that potential. I do not have any 1% doubt, because what action we are doing now or going to take, that is going to impact not only this 1 lakh members, I am not concerned much about them, the future students who are going to come to us. They are looking at us, they are looking at you, they are looking at institute. So try to bring in more and more professionalism in our outlook and approach, and document and record our contributions. Like recently the institute conducted probably first time Achievers Meet. That enabled us to understand how many members are occupying in what kind of critical and bigger positions globally. That was amazing information to MCA, Secretary in MCA, Government of India. Mr. Pawan is here now, he will be talking much more on that. They are the authority. So, I mean, I had a bit of interaction when he was with Department of Public Enterprises. So now he'll be giving much more light on this matter. See, now we are writing a cost management accountant, and we wanted to have a perfect nomenclature to our institute. So what we thought of, whether we have achieved that or what we are thinking now, how we are going to achieve. Let us have a proper documented guideline and with a scale-based manner. That means that KRA KPI should be in place where our future students can monitor our activities, or our past presidents and members can also guide in that parameter. Thank you very much, and thank all the management once again for giving me the opportunity to come here. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.